So we're here today with Mr. Hewes again. This is a bit of an update. We've managed to get the parts finally from Europe, and I'm just dropping them off for Joe to have a look at. What do you think then, Joe? What are you...
Yeah, well, so if you're new to this project and you haven't seen it on this channel, we've already took the engine out the back and started taking it to bits and found some issues. We've also started cutting the armour away, or prepping the armour ready to weld back on, and making a sleeve for the gun, because that's got to be welded back on. And what we thought, this was going to be the difficult part of this restoration, didn't we? We thought we'll get the welding's going to be difficult, you know, the welding's the easy bit. The difficult part was when we ran the engine up and then realised that it was extremely smoky on this right hand side as you stand here. This side, this exhaust was bellowing white smoke out. It seemed to run okay, but it was clear things weren't good. So what we did was quickly strip it all down, which was incredibly difficult because these pots, if you look, there's a new one that you've gone and got as saucers over there. They've held on with a load of bolts, and they're in a place down here. You probably want to bring the camera in so people can actually see. No one cares what I look like. So they're really hard to get at. Of course, we didn't have the right continental spanner at the time, so I had to steal one of Dad's and cut it down and make one. We've ordered some proper ones now.
I want to replace Dad's.
No, don't tell him. He's on holiday at the minute, he won't see this. So. But we've ordered some proper ones because, of course, it's all well and good taking the pots off, but we need to, when we put them back on, torque them to right spec. So, basically, cut a long story short, the problem was the fact that there was several pistons damaged and actually completely melted, that being one, that being the other. In fact, every single piston on this side was damaged in one way, and like, at the first glance you'd look at some of these pistons and go, actually, you know, yeah, there's a bit of wear, but they're not that bad. And then you study them hard and actually realise that part of the piston was snapping off under the rings in places, and actually every single one is damaged on this side. So we weren't ready for that, or expecting it, and two of the pots, these bad cylinders, have also been slightly damaged. Not too bad, because the pistons themselves are aluminium and you've got the steel head, so they're probably worse than they are. We're going to send them away to a machine shop to see if they can be salvaged. However, it's not the end of the world, because Stuart has been busy and gone and got us some brand new pots just in case. But if they can be repaired, we'd rather repair the original ones and put them back on, because this was not supposed to be a full engine rebuild. No. This was supposed to be, we'll just run the engine up, make sure it's not got any oil leaks, service it, change the filters, and then put it back in. And what it's turned into is run the engine up, pull the hair out, big disaster, melted pistons, scrambling for parts.
Big expense.
Yeah, where did you have to go for these?
Went to Belgium for these.
Yeah, just nip down the road, just nip to Belgium. So Stuart's got his piston rings, new pistons, all sorts of bits, gudgeon pins, because the two pistons that have melted, they've deformed that much that we can't actually tap the gudgeon pins out, which should push out with your thumb. So just to be on the safe side, yeah,
new injectors.
Got some new injectors. So we think we've got everything we need, and I know there'll be a lot of people screaming and whittling on that, you know, yes, the piston's melted, where's that swarf got into, the metal will have got into the engine yet, we are aware of that, and what we're going to do is potentially take the whole sump off and blow all the oil lines out and try and get everything we can out. Now, it's probably not going to last forever, but at the same time, a new engine's how many thousand?
65,000, so
yeah,
it's worth trying to get this fixed for a few thousand, just to...
Because everyone at home, like, there'll be the engine armchair builders, they'll be like, that's a waste of time, that won't work. Well, if you've got £65,000 to raise for the project, we'll just go and put a new one in. The link for that will be in the description. Just backs us that on PayPal, and we'll just put a new one in. But we can't do that, so we're going to try and repair what we've got. We're going to be as thorough as we can and get out what we can. Fingers crossed, it won't be too bad. Now, it was running, and it was actually starting, and started really well, actually.
Ran well.
And on this side, ran perfectly. So this 6 cylinders, there was no smoke at all, you know, that all seems to be okay. So what we're going to try and do is sort the bad side, we'll run it up again once we've cleaned, make sure that none of the oil ways are blocked. The journals and everything, just so people are aware, the crank itself and the journals are all perfect. It's not it's not had oil loss. What we think has actually happened, which we probably haven't described very well on your channel, is the reason these pistons, we believe, have melted is because something as stupid as the oil seal here, that is actually the fan drive gearbox, is leaked oil down the side here, down here, and then through the veins of this pot. Now here's a good example. Just get it so you can see. And the oil leaking actually, isn't a big problem. Tanks leak oil, that's normal. Leaking that little amount of oil doesn't matter. Doesn't matter, but what does matter is once it's leaked down and in between the fins, of course this is an air-cooled engine, when it starts up it inhales all the dust. The dust then gets stuck in the fins and then blocks the fins, and that is 90% of how these things are cooled, are through those fins. So we're then blocked. That's increased the temperatures to the point where the piston's expanded and it's just smashing itself in the pot itself, to try and put it in the simplest form. So the stupid little leaks here have potentially ruined this whole engine, but could have been solved by someone, regularly washing the engine.
Or a bit of maintenance.
Yeah, just a little bit of maintenance, like a £2 seal has caused complete devastation. So it just goes to show a little oil leak can in fact do thousands of pounds worth of damage.
And where these came from, the amount of dust that would have been kicked up.
It's like a desert, wasn't it?
It's just like a desert, yes.
Yeah.
It would have been horrendous.
Because when we first looked at it, we thought actually the engine's really clean. Tank engines are all like, let's for instance, a Chieftain, they're famous for leaking oil, like a K60 out of a 432. They leak oil all the time. They'll run all day long, they're fine, but they're a water-cooled engine. It's not really susceptible to dust, dust build-up like these ones are. So this engine, when it came out, we're like, oh, that's clean. There's not much oil in the engine bay. Normally it'd be absolutely covered in oil.
We were feeling quite confident.
And we were thinking, oh, this will be all right.
What could possibly go wrong?
It turns out everything went wrong.
Yeah.
So that's where we're up to with this engine. This might be a lot for your channel because it's gone from it's going away and we're all happy to it's come, we've took it to bits. And
but if you want to go, if you want to see the build up to this, go on to Mr. Hewes'.
The journals and everything, just so people are aware, the crank itself and the journals are all perfect. It's not had oil loss. What we think has actually happened, which we probably haven't described very well on your channel, is the reason these pistons, we believe, have melted is because something as stupid as the oil seal here, that is actually the fan drive gearbox, is leaked oil down the side here, down here, and then through the veins of this pot. Now here's a good example. Just get it so you can see. And the oil leaking actually, isn't a big problem. Tanks leak oil, that's normal. Leaking that little amount of oil doesn't matter. Doesn't matter, but what does matter is once it's leaked down and in between the fins, of course this is an air-cooled engine, when it starts up it inhales all the dust. The dust then gets stuck in the fins and then blocks the fins, and that is 90% of how these things are cooled, are through those fins. So we're then blocked. That's increased the temperatures to the point where the piston's expanded and it's just smashing itself in the pot itself, to try and put it in the simplest form. So the stupid little leaks here have potentially ruined this whole engine, but could have been solved by someone, regularly washing the engine.
Or a bit of maintenance.
Yeah, just a little bit of maintenance, like a £2 seal has caused complete devastation. So it just goes to show a little oil leak can in fact do thousands of pounds worth of damage.
And where these came from, the amount of dust that would have been kicked up.
It's like a desert, wasn't it?
It's just like a desert, yes.
Yeah.
It would have been horrendous.
Because when we first looked at it, we thought actually the engine's really clean. Tank engines are all like, let's for instance, a Chieftain, they're famous for leaking oil, like a K60 out of a 432. They leak oil all the time. They'll run all day long, they're fine, but they're a water-cooled engine. It's not really susceptible to dust, dust build-up like these ones are. So this engine, when it came out, we're like, oh, that's clean. There's not much oil in the engine bay. Normally it'd be absolutely covered in oil.
We were feeling quite confident.
And we were thinking, oh, this will be all right.
What could possibly go wrong?
It turns out everything went wrong.
Go wrong, yeah.
So that's where we're up to with this engine. This might be a lot for your channel because it's gone from it's going away and we're all happy to it's come, we've took it to bits. And
but if you want to go, if you want to see the build up to this, go on to Mr. Hewes' channel.
Yeah,
you'll see it all.
Well, we took it to bits in depth and discovered the problems firsthand on there. So
and it'll be on Mr. Hewes' channel when he puts it all back together in depth as well, because We'll just pop back in later when it's all looking nice.
You'll be able to go, that's the same, bye, come back and hopefully we put it together. And the most difficult thing, I know there'll be a lot of people thinking, God, how are you going to remember where everything goes back together? What we always try and do is, when we remove something, put the bolts back in the same hole. Sounds really stupid. The most difficult thing actually will be the fan, the air cowlings. So all these cowlings wrap round the cylinders in different places. And they're incredibly fiddly, and all of that needs cleaning, and all the pots need thoroughly cleaning before we put that back on. That's going to be the hard bit. The actual bolting the pistons on and all that is fairly straightforward, and the cam timing.
Well, we can send one of the lads down to give you a hand with the basic cleaning, if you like.
It's just boring. We need someone to sit at the parts washer for a couple of hours. Just
send Mick down.
Yeah, send Mick down.
Yeah, he'll love that job.
Yeah, with his toothbrush and his marigolds, and he can clean every single fin out. That's something as well. Should probably address. Need to order those two sinks, because what we don't want to do is fix it and then not replace them.
Definitely. Let's get it done together while we can.
Yeah. So
we should be able to get them off the shelf.
Yeah. I mean, you would like to think they were fairly standard. So that's where we're up to with the engine. So yeah. The welding is now turned into the biggest problem to actually being the smallest problem we've got right now. But once we've sorted the engine, we'll be back onto the welding. And hopefully that'll be straightforward, because I'll do what Stuart's done and I'll just get somebody else to do it.
It's a very smart man.
I've been in business longer than Jay, that's what it is, so I've learned.
Yeah.
Always push the problem to somebody else to sort out.
Yeah, let someone else deal with it. And what it's done to me is it's failed. I thought, well, I'll get the difficult part done by someone else, everything will be fine. And then I've landed it with this. So be careful what you sign yourself up for with these sort of things. But no, in a bad sort of way, I think it will actually, I'm pretty confident it'll be okay. Sure.
Well, you've learned something new again, haven't you? It's another.
Yeah, we've not lost everything, and all the people whinging that the engine will last 5 minutes. Well, we'll see, won't we? So everyone, put your comment. Do you think it'll last 5 minutes? Do you think it'll run for 10 years? Just remember as well, we're not taking them to battle. This is what people seem to forget. This is probably going to be ran at a few shows, probably once, twice a year for less than an hour. It hasn't got to do. It's not going on service, it's not running for hours and hours a day. So, really, it's probably going to be quite all right. Hopefully. I'm sure there'll be someone that'll be upset now.
Okay, so spot on. Thanks then, Joe, for that. We'll watch with bated breath, and any more parts you need, then we'll do our best to get them for you.
I think we're going to be all right. I think we're, I think we've got everything we pretty much need. And actually, in fairness, it's quite a good engine to work on. I've quite enjoyed so far working on it. We're not very far into the engine as far as engines go, but yeah, the most difficult bit was like getting at these bolts under here when all the pot's on, because you can't even see them. That was difficult, but otherwise, yeah, there's definitely worse engines to work on.
The broken bits, where do you think they've gone? Well, obviously they've gone to the bottom of the engine, but is there like a mesh in there, or is there something?
So if you look under here, you don't actually see the sump. So under this is the actual crank itself. These are, and underneath there's like a piece of tin, and that's like a guard. So when the oil's underneath, it's not splashing and getting up at the pistons. Just I think it's to stop the oily air and all that splashing around. So that if you look, it's actually really clean.
Yeah.
We haven't done anything to that. However, bits of the piston, if you look mainly, because it's broken the rings up, and if you actually look in the pistons, it's actually embedded itself in the pistons.
Right.
So they have actually collected, because of course they've basically become molten, and then the bits of ring, which are a harder metal, have then snapped because they're brittle, and actually got mostly impregnated into the pistons. And also, what we're hoping to find is. We will have a look at the oil collector. There'll be like a gauze where it sucks oil through a strainer, and I imagine that most of it will have been captured by that. Yeah. That is its job. That's what it's for. So fingers crossed. That's where it will have got to. We hope, because of course, if it has got past that and got into the oil pump, it would wear the oil pump out. Blah 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 blah. But the oil that came out when we dropped it, when we didn't know anything was wrong with this engine, there's actually a magnetic sump bung. And there was no metal on it at all. Even when you wiped it with a rag, there were no piston rings that fell out the bottom. The oil was, well, it needed changing, but it wasn't that bad. There was still a bit of goldness in it. So if bits of ring and metal and swarford came out, we'd have gone, I'm not going to run this engine. But because it was really quite okay, we never expected to have this issue. So I do think the oil side of things will probably be okay.
At the end of the day, it is what it is. We've taken a chance with it. When we bought these vehicles, the engines were a complete unknown. The price we paid for them, if we have to replace an engine, we have to replace an engine. I'm just hoping that we don't. And I'm sure you'll do your best to make sure it...
Well, it's nicer if we can get its original engine.
Absolutely.
You know, as daft as it sounds, this is the engine it came with. If we can save its original engine, that's better, isn't it? Any idiot can put a new engine in it. Well, we can't because we ain't got a new engine. Hope you've all enjoyed this little update, and yeah, be sure to keep following on.
And yeah, if you would like to like and subscribe to our channel, that's the Armourgeddon channel, and obviously Mr. Hewes' channel, which you probably already
block and report that one.
And we'll look forward to the next update.